Hey everybody, this video brings us out to Sanatoga, Pennsylvania. And the reason why we are in Sanatoga, Pennsylvania today is because, as you guys know, just a couple of days ago, we did go out to an old abandoned Kmart. Still had all the old signage. It was pretty awesome. Wanted to document that store before they eventually maybe tear it down or somebody else moves in and all the old signage comes down. Had to document that for you guys. And in the video, I started talking to you about all my old memories of Kmart because I spent a lot of my childhood inside a Kmart. Now that store was actually located in Westchester, Pennsylvania, which is probably a good half hour or so away from where my childhood home was. And in the video, I did say, again, that was not my childhood, my local Kmart. However, my local childhood Kmart still kind of sort of exists. The building still exists, and there's now a different company inside that building, but we could actually go inside it and we could take a look at it, and I could tell you guys about my memories of that Kmart. And a lot of you left comments down below saying, yes, do that. Go out to the Kmart, show us the Kmart, tell us your memories of that store. So again, we're here in Sanatoga, Pennsylvania at what once used to be my local Kmart, now a Liberty Ministry Thrift store. But clearly, as you guys can tell by just looking at the structure, this was indeed a Kmart back in the day. And I did so much shopping inside here. So many hours of my childhood spent inside the store with my mom, with my grandmother, with my great aunt. Probably my favorite memories of this Kmart would have to be with my great aunt when she would always take me and my brother out here to buy toys all the time. I loved coming out here. And look at these amazing walls. The old brick walls still exist. These are the walls from back when this used to be a Kmart. I remember walking past these and doing this, rubbing your hands against them. I have not done this since I was a child, and I get to do it now. This is awesome. I mean, even though I come out here all the time, it's just been forever since I've done this. I'm reliving my childhood right now, reliving my memories of being a child with you guys about when I used to come out here when this was a Kmart. Like I said, so many memories, so many hours of my childhood. Now my hands all gross. So many hours of my childhood spent shopping here because this is the place you used to come when I was a kid. Back in the 80s, early 90s, there were no Walmarts, there were no Targets in the area. Those stores did exist, just not here in this part of Pennsylvania. Those stores were not a thing. We had Jamesway, we had Ames, we had Bradley's, we had stores like that we would go to occasionally. But I'd say 95% of the time, if you were going to a department store, if we were going to a department store, we were going to go to the Kmart. My grandmother used to live right down the road, so pretty much every time we would go visit my grandmother, either going out to her or coming back home, we would always stop off here, pick up maybe clothing for school or some kind of supplies for the house. We would need whatever we'd have to pick up. This is a store you would go to. We wouldn't do Target runs. We would do Kmart runs back in the 80s into the early 90s. And then even into my teenage years, I would still come out here. And then into my adulthood years, I would come out here and do some shopping. I used to remember coming out here on Black Friday and shopping for movies and all kinds of cheap products I'd want to pick up. So in the early 2000s, this did shut down. And for a while, it sat abandoned until Liberty Ministry Thrift came in and turned this into a gigantic, huge thrift store, which is pretty awesome because now I still get to come out here. Pretty much every single week I come out here, and I still get to go inside here and walk around and do some shopping. Even though now I'm doing thrifting, it's still pretty awesome that I get to go inside my old Kmart and shop still to this day, which is really, really awesome. And I love the fact that they have not changed the outside facade. The fact that the old brick walls are still here is just so awesome. And really, every time I see this, it takes me back to being a kid again. So up front here, this is actually where they had the old vending machines and the old quarter machines. I remember riding a donkey. That's like the one weird quarter machine I remember riding all the time because my uncle used to tell me that donkey was named Aunt Kim. My aunt, my mom's sister, her brother used to tell me that the donkey was named Aunt Kim. And as a kid, I would never understand what he was talking about. I just thought, oh, you're being silly. You're saying that the donkey's name is Aunt Kim. I would laugh at it, but I'd have no idea what he was talking about. Now, as an adult, I get the joke. I understand the joke. I see what he was getting at, but I still remember that. I still remember the donkey out here that you could ride. You pop a quarter in it, you sit on it, you ride the donkey. And I still remember my uncle telling me the name of that donkey was Aunt Kim. Fun, weird memories. But again, this is where all the vending machines were, the soda machines, and all the rides and the merry-go-rounds and stuff you could ride on as a kid. I remember riding on those, begging my mom for a quarter so I could ride the donkey, so I could ride the merry-go-round, probably the rocket ship, who knows what else they had inside here. But all right, we're gonna go inside now. So inside the vestibule here, if I'm not making this up, I'm pretty sure I remember somewhere inside here, there used to be a photo, a newspaper clipping of Donald Trump with his kids, because right down the road is the Hill School, which is a very fancy private school that either one of or maybe multiple Donald Trump kids went to. I'm not entirely sure how many of his kids actually went to the Hill School, but they used to have a photo, a newspaper clipping of Donald Trump here shopping at the Kmart with his kids while he was dropping them off at the Hill School. That was like the big thing. This was long before the days of his presidency, but I remember there was a picture of him there inside the Kmart. It was a big deal back in the day that he was here doing some shopping. But this is it, the Liberty Ministry Thrift, what once was the old Kmart. And I'm trying to remember where the old checkout areas used to be. I'm trying to think, like, I want to see maybe they were right here, but the other part of my brain is saying no, they were actually over on this side. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember. If you're from the area and you remember what side of the vestibule were the checkout lanes on, were they over here or were they over here? I honestly don't remember. I'm thinking though they were right here. I'm like 99.9% sure the checkout lines were over here, right where the Little Liberty section is. And I say that because I remember right over here where the cart corral is, that was where the quarter machines were. This is where we would get our gumballs and our bouncy balls and all the little knickknacks and weird toys. They would have our little slappy, gooey hands. I remember I was big into collecting those. They had these plastic, who remembers the 1980s charm bracelets that you used to get out of a vending machine? And you buy these weird little charms that were all in different kinds of shapes of things and whatnot. I remember being big into collecting those. And I remember getting them from here because you would get them right here as you were leaving the store. So I'm like 99.9% sure this is where the old checkout lanes used to be. And I want to say over here against this wall, in this area over here used to be the Little Caesars. I remember they put in a Little Caesars. I don't believe when I was a kid there was a Little Caesars in here, but into my like teenage years or something like that, they put one in. I miss Little Caesars being inside Kmart's. What I wouldn't give for that to be a thing again. I kind of wish that Targets, instead of putting in Pizza Huts inside their store, would have put in Little Caesars instead. That would have been amazing. I am not a fan of Pizza Hut, but man, do I love me some Little Caesars. What I wouldn't give to be able to go out to any Target and just get Little Caesars, or what I wouldn't give for Kmart to still be a thing, and for me to just be able to run out to a Kmart and get Little Caesars as well. So over here where all the clothing is, this was actually the area where the clothing still was when this was a Kmart. Over there was like different kinds of shopping. We'll go over there in a second, but over here, this is where all the clothing was. I remember coming over here as a kid and getting clothes for school, new cool shirts and pants and whatnot, all the stuff you need as a kid growing up, getting ready for school. We'll do our school shopping here. I remember getting all kinds of new clothing for my new school year, probably all my neon 1980s, 1990s clothing. And over here is actually still the original fitting room for the Kmart. Look at that. They've actually repurposed, well, not repurposed, they're still using, I should say, the fitting room, the old Kmart fitting room as the Liberty Thrift fitting room. Don't remember actually ever using, don't remember actually ever using that as a kid, though I probably did. I probably tried stuff on inside that fitting room as a kid, but over here is where all the clothing was, all the adult clothing, all the kids' clothing. And then on the other side of the store, this is where all the food was and the toys were, and the gardening section, all that stuff was actually over on the other side. And probably my favorite memories would have to be over on the other side. So I remember getting a ton of toys as a kid from here. And I believe over in this area, if I'm not mistaken, used to be, and this was really awesome, they used to have an ice cream place here inside the Kmart. You used to actually be able to get ice cream. And I remember they had these little tiny ice creams. It was a little tiny sugar cone with a little tiny scoop of ice cream they would put on the top. Now I have no idea if that ice cream was free or maybe it was just $1, maybe it was like $1 cone. I have no idea. I was a kid, I wasn't paying for it. My parents or my relatives would have paid for the ice cream for me, but I remember getting it all the time. So my brain wants to tell me It was probably free ice cream, but it may have just been cheap ice cream. But I remember I think it was right around here, there was like a squared off area, and they used to actually serve food and ice cream out of that area. Who remembers when Kmart used to have ice cream? I do, because I remember getting little mini ice cream cones. It's a little tiny scoop of ice cream on a little tiny kid's sugar cone all the time when I was here. I used to beg my parents, get me some ice cream, mom and dad, get me ice cream from the Kmart. I miss those days. I think my first time ever having a Nestle Crunch bar, I'm thinking of candy and sweets now. I think my first time ever getting a Nestle Crunch bar was here as well. I'm a huge fan. Probably my favorite chocolate candy bar would have to be Nestle Crunch, and that's because of Kmart, because I'd always get one when we were standing in the checkout line. They'd have all the candy, just like they do nowadays in a Target, in a Walmart. They'd have candy in the checkout aisles, and I remember getting Nestle Crunch bars, and then we'd go outside, we'd get in the car, I'd crack it open, and I'd eat my delicious Nestle Crunch bar. I remember that. That's where I fell in love with Nestle Crunch. Back here, the corner was the gardening section. I don't believe it was walled off like it is now. Now they do all kinds of stuff back there, but there used to be the gardening section, and then right over here, this is where all the toys were. I remember over in this area here, this is where the toys were located. And I remember that because my great aunt would always bring us out here. The great memories I have of my great aunt, I have so many of them. She was an amazing woman. Her name was Aunt Pauline. She was fantastic. Died X amount of years ago, unfortunately, but she used to babysit me and my brother all the time. And she would take us out to McDonald's or Burger King, always get us a Burger King Kids Club meal or a McDonald's Happy Meal. We'd always get the toys. Sometimes she would take us to the movie theaters. And then after we were done doing all that, we'd always stop here at the Kmart. And the reason why we would do that is because she'd always let us get a toy. So I'd always walk out of here with a little action figure, like a G.I. Joe or something, or I'd always walk out of here with Legos. I was big into Lego when I was a kid. I still love Lego. So pretty much every time I come out of here with a Lego, maybe a Mad Ball, whatever cool 90s or 80s toy was hot at the time, she would always bring us out here to get toys. And that was in the section right here where all the furniture is. This was where the toy section was. I remember spending hours inside these aisles just walking up and down trying to figure out what was the best toy to get. If I was going to get one free toy today, what was that free toy going to be? I couldn't just grab something and be, I'm just getting this. I would have to really think about it. And my brother and I would spend hours just inside the store thinking about what toy did we want to get. I remember those days so well. And then into my teenage years, into my adulthood, I used to come out here and go into their electronics section to get video games and to get movies. And that was located over here in the corner. I remember this was like a walled off area, probably with security stands so you couldn't steal a DVD or a Blu-ray or a video game or whatever. But over here was where they actually had the electronics section in this corner. You could get your TVs, your Discmans, your Walkmans, your DVDs, your Blu-rays, your VHS, your CDs. Back in the day, right in this corner right here, there is no longer a walled off area. As you can see, plenty of plugs over here though. If you do notice, along the wall here, there's actually a ton of plugs. I wouldn't be surprised if those plugs were here. And the reason why there's so many along this specific wall is because, again, this used to be the electronics section. I don't think the carpeting was here. I don't think anyway. But again, electronics section over here in the corner, gardening section there in the back, toys, food over here. I want to say maybe this area was like again, I'm trying to remember back. Did they have a pharmacy back in the day? I want to say maybe they had a pharmacy that was sort of located over here. Again, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember all my old memories of being a child out here. Some of those memories might be a little skewed, but so many. Get hours spent inside the store, spent shopping with my family, getting ice cream, getting Nestle Crunch bars, getting clothing for back to school, buying toys, because my aunt would always be awesome and buy us stuff. And now I get to come back out here as an adult and still shop in this store. Again, I'm thrifting now. I'm not shopping for back to school clothing, although I could, I guess. Technically, I could do that. And I'm not necessarily shopping for toys, although, again, I guess I kind of am. I guess I kind of am still shopping for clothing and toys and electronics. Basically, everything I used to shop for here, maybe with the exception of food back in the day, I can pretty much still get here, only now I'm thrifting for it and not just going out and buying the new hot items. So in a way, I'm still kind of shopping like I used to at my old Kmart store. But all right, guys, there you go. Liberty Ministry Thrift, what used to be Kmart. These floors right here, I mean, these are the old Kmart floors. They did not change these. The floors I'm walking on right now are probably the same exact floors I was walking on when I was a 5-year-old, when I was a 10-year-old, when I was a little kid, into my teenage years coming out here. Pretty awesome to think that I am walking on those old floors. I probably touched these poles as a kid. I probably touched the floors as a kid. I walked on the floors as a kid, and now I'm back out here every single week doing some thrifting in what once was my old Kmart, my old stomping grounds, the store I used to spend so many hours of my childhood inside. I'll take you guys back outside really quickly, but there you go, guys. Those are the memories of my old Kmart. Like I said, right here, I believe was the actual checkout lines. Then over here were the quarter machines, the candy machines, where I used to get gumballs and all kinds of weird things out of the quarter machines. What were your favorite things to get out of quarter machines? Again, me, I used to be big into collecting those charms. I knew they were probably meant for girls, but I didn't care. I was always big into collecting, and the idea of buying all those charms and getting all those charms and having a bracelet with a bajillion charms on them sounds so cool to me. The idea of collecting all those sounded so awesome to me. Again, look at these amazing walls that are still here. I'm loving this. Like I said, every time I come out here and I do shopping and I look at this store from a distance, it always just takes me back to being a kid, pulling up here in the shopping center into the parking lot with my family, with my mom, with my brother, with my grandmother, with my aunt, and coming out here to do some shopping. Back here where the donation center is, this was the gardening section. I don't know what still remains, if anything, from the old gardening section. Maybe there's still something back here. Let's see. Looks like oh wow. I do believe those are the old fences from back when this used to be the gardening area. All the plants and whatnot were back here. You get all your gardening supplies from the Kmart. Now that's where you drop off all your donations. So, all right, guys, just wanted to bring you out here, show this to you guys, talk to you guys about this, reminisce on my days of this being a Kmart. If you're from the area, if you're from the Sanatoga, Pottstown, Pottsgrove, Limerick, Pennsylvania area, if you remember coming out here as a kid, or even as an adult, whatever age you are, if you remember coming out here and doing some shopping when this used to be a Kmart, leave comments down below. I want to hear your memories. I want to hear where you thought things were located in the store. Did I pretty much get it right with where I thought things were located? Again, it was a long time ago when I used to do shopping here, so I might not be 100% exact on where the checkout lines were, or where the ice cream area was, or where the Little Caesars was, but I think I pretty much got all that down. So, all right, guys, again, that is it from the old Kmart here in Sanatoga, Pennsylvania, my old stomping grounds, a place I spent so many hours in as a kid, so many amazing memories inside the store with my family, but mostly with my great aunt. I'd say 90% of my memories here, the ones I'm super fond of, are the ones spent here with my Aunt Pauline, doing shopping, getting toys, getting ice cream, getting Nestle Crunch bars, getting ices. Oh my gosh, who remembers ices? I never liked ices, but I'd always beg my parents for an icy. I used to get the Coke ones. Even as a kid, I used to drink a lot of soda. And now into my adulthood years, it's a problem. I still drink a lot of soda, trying to get away from doing that. But I always get a Coke icy. I always thought Coke ices sounded amazing. And every time I'd eat one, I'd eat maybe like a quarter of it and throw the rest out, because it turns out I don't actually like ices in general, not even Coke ices. But I'd always get one. I'd always say, Mom, get me a Coke icy. And she would break down, she would buy me one. And every time I would drink about a quarter of it and go, I don't like this, and throw it out. Why she kept buying them for me, why I kept asking for them, I have no idea. Probably because my mom was awesome and just said, you know what, give him what he wants. It's an icy, go for it. It was the 80s, it was the 90s. We didn't care about giving kids sugar back then. Back then, popping sugar in kids' mouths, it just made sense. But all right, guys, that is it. So like I said, if you have memories at this Kmart, I want to hear your memories down below, or just memories of your times at Kmart's in general. Leave a comment down below. What did your old Kmart used to look like? Did you used to do a ton of shopping there? Was it the place to go? And like I said, if you've ever frequented this store when it was a Kmart, comments definitely down below. I want to hear your memories. But all right, guys, so that's it. So as always, thank you all so much for checking out this video. Be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, check down below for links to Patreon. If you guys do become a patron, I will send you a postcard every single month from the road. Also check down below for a link to Spreadshirt, where you can grab yourself retro rest stop t-shirts, proceeds, both from Spreadshirt and from Patreon. It's going to help supporting the show and keeping the show going. So I really do appreciate that, guys. All right, again, here in Sanatoga, Pennsylvania, at the old Kmart, now a Liberty Ministry Thrift. I'm actually gonna go inside now. I'm gonna do some thrifting. So as always, guys, like I said, thanks for watching. Hit all the different like buttons, hit all the subscribe buttons. And if you do hit that buttons, there's only one subscribe button, and there's only one like button, but hit them both. I would appreciate it. Multiple buttons. And if you guys do hit that like button and you do hit that subscribe button and you are subscribed, then I will see you in tomorrow's video. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.